Hi guys, this is Sadik from Rodman.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to flash the latest Lavender OS gaming ROM onto your Galaxy S20 FE. So this gaming ROM is extremely deep loaded, claims to have a faster boot up time than many other custom ROM, but a few 3D rendering tweaks as well as better ROM optimizations. Likewise, you could unlock a few features by using the CSC and changing the CSC tweaks from the ROM as well. Just keep in mind that it is still based on Android 13 One UI 5.1 and not on the Android 14 or 15 build. So if that's well and good, then let's get started. First off, please take a backup of all the data on your phone, because flashing this ROM will remove and reset your device as well. So please take a backup beforehand. Once that is done, get hold of the ROM file which correspond to your phone. Then, okay, one more thing, this ROM is only supported on the G781B and the G780G. You could verify the same by going to the phone's settings menu, and from there it's easily visible. So go to about phone, and as you could see, in my case it's G781B. So either of the two ROMs are supported. If that's well and good, then your first course of action is to get hold of the ROM zip file. Once you have got the ROM zip file, you now have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that unlocking will trip the Knox, and it will also erase all the data, and it might make the warranty null and void as well. Moreover, Knox is a hardware component which is embedded in the motherboard. So once you have unlocked the bootloader, there is no going back. Even if you relock the bootloader, the Knox will again be still remain in the trip state. It cannot be revert back to the original state. So if that's all well and good, you could refer to my guide and the video and unlock the bootloader. In short, you will first off have to enable developer option by tapping on the build number 7 times, and then enable the OEM unlocking as well. Once you enable the OEM unlocking, you will now have to boot your phone to the download mode. You could refer to my guide and get the job done. And once you are in the download mode, just long press the volume up keys and you will get a prompt warning. So again press the volume up key, and then the bootloader will be unlocked. Your phone will undergo a reset, and once that is done, it will boot to the OS. And with this, the bootloader is unlocked. Just one more step is remaining. You will now have to connect your phone to the Wi-Fi, and then once again go to the developer option and make sure that the OEM unlocking is gray out. Let me show you. This is required to disable and the vault keeper. So make sure that after unlocking the bootloader, it's gray out. So let me show you that as well. Just a minute. So this is the developer options page, and as you could see, in OEM unlocking is gray out and it's already unlocked. So once you have unlocked the bootloader, let's move ahead with the next step. Now you have to install the TWRP IP recovery onto your phone. So again, I made a separate guide and a video on the same. Still, I'll show you once again how to get this job done. So we'll be using the FBE disabler method and not the multi disabler for the Galaxy S20 FE. FBE disabler is the one which works. So this is my video, but still, let me show you once again. So we are done with the first step. Second step, you will have to download the recovery file as well as the VB-Meta patch file. Both should be in the tar format. Once you have got both the file, let me verify it once. So this is the VB-Meta patch file, and this is the recovery file for my phone. Both are in the tar format, as you could see. So once you have got it, you will now have to get hold of the Odin file from my guide. Odin is required to flash the TWRP recovery onto your phone. So this is the Odin tool. You should now launch the Odin tool via the exe file. You will get a prompt, click on OK, and the tool is now launched. Once that is done, you will now have to boot your phone to download mode so that Odin could identify the phone in this mode, and we could then flash the recovery file. For booting to download mode, there are quite a few ways, numerous hardware key combination as well, but the universal method is using the ADB command, and this is what we will be doing over here. So first off, enable USB debugging and developer options on your phone. For that, go to about phone and software information and tap on build number 7 times. Then go back, and you should now see developer option. So go there and enable the toggle next to USB debugging. You will get a prompt on your phone, tap on OK. You might get one more prompt, again check mark and tap on allow. And with this, debugging is now enabled. Let's verify the same. So go to the address bar of platform tools. You may get hold of the platform tools from my guide. Let me show you. So get it from here and extract them onto your PC. Now let's open the CMD window here. So type in CMD and hit enter. It will open the CMD inside platform tools. Now type in ADB devices and verify that you are getting an ID. If you are not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC. Disable and re-enable USB debugging. tap on revoke USB debugging, use the official USB cable that came with your phone, and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out this USB fixes and verify that you're getting an ID. Once you're getting this ID, your next course of action is to boot your phone to download mode using the ADB command, which is ADB reboot download. You must simply copy this command here and paste it in the CMD window as well. So just let me do that and hit enter, and your phone will now reboot into download mode, which will take only a few seconds. And once it's in the download mode, we could then start off with the flashing process of Odin, of the recovery via the Odin software. And as you could see, it's now in the download mode. So now you may launch the Odin tool, and as you could see, our phone is now added over here in the log, and it's also shown here in the COM port. So first and foremost, go to the option tab and uncheck auto reboot. This is extremely important. Now click on AP and choose the recovery.tar file. This is the file, and then in the user data slot, you have to load the VB meta patch file. This is the file. So just to repeat, in the AP you have to upload the recovery.tar file, and in the user data slot you have to upload the VB meta patch.tar file. Once you've uploaded both the file, click on start and just make sure that the auto reboot is unchecked and click on start. The flashing will take only a few seconds, so let's just wait for that to happen. And it will be done, and the flashing is now complete. You will get a pass message. Once the flashing is done, now comes the most important part. So you will now have to reboot your phone to the recovery. But for that, first off, power off your phone by pressing the volume down and power key. As soon as the phone gets powered off, you will have to press the volume up and power key to reboot to recovery directly. Don't let the phone boot to the OS, or else it will remove the recovery and replace it via the stock recovery. So first off, I'm again repeating, press and hold the volume down and power key to power off the phone. As soon as it gets powered off, immediately press and hold the power and the volume up keys. So let me show you. First off, it is the power and the volume down keys. So I'm holding the power and the volume down keys for around 7 seconds. And as soon as the phone gets powered off, don't wait for any more second, and now press the power and the volume up keys and keep it pressed for around 4 to 5 seconds. And now you may let go of the keys, and your phone should now reboot into the TWRP recovery. If it boots to the OS, then it means that something was wrong during the button pressing, and you have to carry out the entire steps once again. So you will have to again flash the recovery file via the Odin. So just make sure that you have pressed the key at the right time. So let's verify, and as you could see in my case, we have got the recovery, but the job is half done. Now you will have to wipe a few partitions. So go to wipe, advanced wipe, and check mark data. Just a minute. Data, key refugee, and metadata. So these are the 4 partitions: data, metadata, key data, and key refugee. So after that, do a right swipe to wipe, and the wiping is now complete. And after that, go back, and now do a format data. This will remove the encryption from the phone. This is also required. So type in yes and hit the blue check mark, and the format data should now be done in a few seconds. Formatting is now done, and now you have to reboot your phone to the recovery. So go to reboot and choose recovery. This will remount the data partition, and your phone should now be visible on the PC, and you can easily transfer the ROM file onto your phone without any issue whatsoever. So let's proceed ahead with the ROM flashing. So we are also done with the recovery flashing, and we are now inside the recovery. So if you are in the OS, then you may use the ADB reboot recovery command to boot to the recovery. But for now, we are already inside the recovery. So let's move ahead with the next step, and now we have to transfer the ROM zip file onto our phone. So guys, the file has now been transferred onto our phone. So let's now flash it. For that, just choose the file and do a right swipe to flash. The flashing will now start, and it could take up to around 6 to 8 minutes for that to complete. As you could see, it's the gaming ROM based on One UI 5.1. So let's just wait for the flashing to complete. So guys, the flashing is now complete, and once that is done, your phone will undergo a reboot, which is completely normal. So let's give it a few more seconds, and then we will proceed ahead with the next course of action. And once your phone reboots in the recovery, it's recommended to do a format data once again. So go to wipe, do a format data, type in yes and hit the blue check mark. And with this, the format data is now complete. And likewise, it's also recommended to go to advanced wipe and check mark metadata and cache partition and wipe them as well. Once that is done, tap on reboot system and your phone will now reboot to the OS. Do note that doing a format data before flashing the ROM and after flashing the ROM both are compulsory. So as you might have seen, we did a format data right before we flashed the ROM, and likewise we also did a format data after we have flashed the ROM, and after that it's also recommended to wipe the metadata and the cache partition just to be on safer side. And once that is done, just tap on reboot system now and your phone will now boot to the OS. Do keep in mind that the first boot up will take up some additional time. That is completely normal and nothing to worry about. From the subsequent time, that will not be the case. So let's just wait for the boot animation or at least the boot logo to appear, either of which will signify that the flashing has been done successfully. And it should just take a few more seconds, so let's just wait. So guys, the phone is now booted to the OS. Let's get started with the setup process. As of now, I'm skipping the initial setup and I will take you to the OS directly. So I'm skipping the Wi-Fi as well. If you want, you may connect your phone to the Wi-Fi, link your Google account and restore all the data as well. Set up your password, PIN or fingerprint, but let me skip this as well. Agree to the terms and conditions, choose a theme, light or dark. Let's go with the dark theme and it's all done and dusted. And with this, we are now inside the ROM. It's based on Android 13 One UI, and as you could see, the USP of the ROM was extremely deep loaded, and as you could see, there are only a few apps in the app drawer. So there aren't many pre-installed apps, which is quite great to see. And this is the QS tiles. This is the settings menu. And you may customize the wallpaper and styles from here. Apart from that, it's the same One UI with a few advanced features. With regards to the gaming, it's customized gaming ROM. So let me have a look at the first of about phone section, and it's based on the One UI. So 5.1, as you could see, Android 13. And this is the CSC version. So it's all well and good. So let me try to run the benchmark test. For that, let me use a benchmark app, 3DX benchmark. It should be here itself. Just give me a second. So this is an app for the benchmark. Let's compare it with the stock One UI. So first off, let me transfer the APK file and I'll show you that as well. So the stock One UI benchmarking result as well, I have that as well. So the file has now been transferred. Let me install it. 3D Mark. So let's enable it and install. So I had taken a few screenshots initially. As you could see, this is the 3D benchmark on the stock One UI 5.1 for my phone. And now I will run a benchmark on this gaming ROM. So first off, I'll have to connect my phone to the Wi-Fi, which will take only a few seconds. So let's just wait, and this is the Wi-Fi network. Let me connect it quickly, and that's just about it. Just give me a second. The connection has been established. So guys, let's now start the benchmark test on my phone, which could take up to a few minutes. So first off, it's doing the graphics test. I'm using the basic wildlife test. There exists around 4 to 5 types of tests, but as you could see in the stock ecosystem as well, I used the wildlife test, which takes a minute. Apart from that, there are a 4 to 5 more tests, extreme test, which runs for approximately 20-25 minutes. You may try out that one as well, but for the sake of convenience and reference, I'm just using this test. So let's verify the result as well. So as you could see, the overall score was 3827 with the average FPS of 23. Then our phone scored 18% more than the rest of the Galaxy S20 FE phones. Then if you compare it with the Galaxy S24, then it's only 1% better, which was expected. Same is the case with the OnePlus 12 as well. Our phone scored 1% better than the Galaxy OnePlus 12. Apart from that, the overall performance in the battery, there was no drop, and even the temperature drop was very minimal, or rather the temperature increment was very minimal, because the test ran for just a minute, and in 1 minute there isn't any going to be major change in the temperature or battery drop, and the FPS range from the minimum 15 to maximum 28. So these are the some screenshots which I took on the stock One UI, and let's now moreover, as compared to all the other Android phone, my phone scored 47% better. It's the stock ecosystem result. And now let's have a look at the custom ROM. So in the custom ROM, the score is 3843, which is somewhat improved, but the average FPS is also somewhat improved as well, but very minimal. Your score versus this model score is better than 23%. This is somewhat increased. In case of the stock One UI, it was 18%, and as you could see, it's now 23%. Apart from that, let's compare it with the Galaxy S24, and is the same for the as the OnePlus stock ecosystem as well. As you could see, in OnePlus 12 as well is the same 1%. Your score versus all the other device in the custom ROM is 48%. In the stock, it was 47%. And the performance monitoring, let me have a look at that. So the battery drop was somewhat significant. That's quite strange, because in the test on the stock it remains same, but over here a 3% drop in just 1% in just 1 minute is somewhat strange to see. The temperature increment was not that high, and even in case of FPS, we could see the minimum FPS and the maximum FPS, an increment of 1%. So the FPS increment is there, but not major. So although there are some improvement in numerous domains, but the overall score and the overall FPS increment is not that much high to be called as a pure gaming ROM. But still, do keep this in mind that I haven't played any game whatsoever till now. This benchmark test was carried out by the app. The ecosystem was the same. The Wi-Fi was enabled on both the phones. Everything else was same. The only difference is that this is a stock ecosystem and this is a custom ROM, but I haven't tried it out in any gaming. So if you want, you may try playing a game and then have a look at the battery drainage and the phone temperature as well. But for now, although it is a gaming ROM, and even it's extremely debloated and faster boot, 3D render optimization and better RAM optimization, but in spite of that, the improvement is not that much major. So with that said, to each its own, and you are the better judge. So try this ROM once and then let me know what do you think of this. Moreover, if you have any query with regard to any of the steps, do let me know in the comment section, and thanks a lot for watching.